All right, so this time you guys sent in the Ethereum Whitepaper
Yeah.
for this deep dive. Talk about going back to the source.
Back to the OG,
Right.
OG paper.
I mean, it's the document that started it all, right?
Yeah.
Published back in 2014 by Vitalik Buterin before Ethereum even launched in 2015.
Yeah. It's amazing how relevant that document still is. You think about how much the tech has advanced since then.
Right.
But the core ideas that Buterin laid out, the vision, it's all still there shaping Ethereum today.
So let's rewind back to 2014.
Okay.
Bitcoin was already a thing. A huge deal, even.
Yeah, definitely.
But the Ethereum white paper goes beyond that.
Right.
What was it about Bitcoin that they wanted to change?
Well, the white paper calls Bitcoin a state transition system.
Okay.
Which sounds complicated.
Right.
But it's just a way of tracking who owns what.
Yeah, okay.
The catch is Bitcoin uses a limited scripting language.
Okay.
And that puts constraints on what you can build on top of it.
So enter Ethereum, which was designed to be Turing complete.
Yes.
That's a big word.
It is a big word.
But basically it means Ethereum can theoretically handle any kind of computation.
Exactly.
Why was that so important?
Well, think of it this way. With Turing completeness, you're not limited to just one type of application.
Right.
Bitcoin was great for cryptocurrency, but Ethereum wanted to be a platform for anything you could imagine, from token systems to decentralized file storage, even DAOs, those decentralized organizations that practically run themselves.
Yeah, that sounds like something straight out of science fiction.
It kind of is.
But let's back up a bit.
Okay.
Before we jump into those mind-blowing applications,
yeah,
we need to understand the foundation.
Sure.
What are the building blocks of Ethereum?
Well, it all starts with accounts.
Okay.
You have the familiar externally owned accounts.
Yeah.
Those are controlled by your private keys, just like Bitcoin.
Okay.
But then you have contract accounts, which are controlled by code.
What?
So imagine an account that operates entirely on preset rules, automatically carrying out transactions based on the code.
Interesting.
That's a contract account.
So like a regular bank account, but with built-in automation.
Yeah, that's a good way to think about it. And then, of course, you have Ether.
Right.
That's Ethereum's own cryptocurrency. The fuel that keeps the network running.
Right.
Every transaction, every bit of computation costs a little bit of Ether.
Right.
And that's where gas comes in.
Right. The white paper talks about gas and fees.
Yeah.
It's all about making sure the network runs smoothly and preventing attacks, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Gas is a measure of the computational effort it takes to execute a transaction or run a smart contract. You as the user set a gas price you're willing to pay. And the final fee depends on how much gas your action uses.
Right.
This system makes the network more efficient and discourages anyone from spamming it with frivolous actions.
So gas keeps things running smoothly.
Yeah.
But the white paper also mentions transactions and messages. They seem pretty similar. What's the difference?
Okay, so think of it this way. A transaction is initiated by a user.
Right.
Like you sending Ether to someone else or interacting with a smart contract.
Okay.
A message, on the other hand, is generated by a contract itself. It's how contracts can talk to each other.
So it's like a chain reaction.
Right.
One contract triggers an action in another.
Exactly.
That's getting pretty complex.
It is, but that's where the real power of Ethereum lies.
Okay.
And remember, both transactions and messages can carry data along with them.
Right.
That data is how you give instructions to a contract, telling it what to do with the Ether or information it receives.
Okay, and that leads us to the heart of the matter. Smart contracts.
Yes.
The white paper calls them autonomous agents, which sounds pretty intense.
Yeah, it's an evocative term.
Right.
Because smart contracts are essentially self-executing agreements.
Okay.
They're written in code and stored on the blockchain. And once they're deployed, they run automatically.
Okay.
Based on the rules baked into that code.
I remember seeing an example in the white paper.
Yeah.
They actually show you a simple contract written in Serpent.
Right.
Which is a programming language for Ethereum. You can see how it interacts with data and storage, how it makes decisions based on the code.
Exactly.
And this is where that whole Turing completeness thing we talked about earlier gets really interesting.
Yeah.
Ethereum, by design, can handle complex computations.
Right.
But that means it also has to deal with the possibility of infinite loops in these contracts.
Yes, that's right.
Wait, infinite loops? That sounds like a recipe for disaster.
Well,
wouldn't that mean a contract could get stuck and clog up the entire network?
That's a valid concern.
Yeah.
And it's something that the Ethereum developers addressed head on.
Okay.
The solution. You guessed it. Gas.
Gas.
Every contract has a finite amount of gas allocated to its execution.
Okay.
If it runs out of gas before finishing,
right,
the execution stops and is reverted.
Oh.
This clever mechanism ensures that even if a contract falls into an infinite loop, it will eventually hit its gas limit and be forced to stop.
So it's like a built-in safety valve
Yeah.
to prevent those runaway processes.
Exactly. And what's remarkable is that the Ethereum developers chose this path knowing the potential challenges.
Wow.
They were willing to embrace complexity to create a platform that was truly versatile and powerful.
Okay, so we've got these autonomous smart contracts running on Ethereum, fueled by Ether, and kept in check by the gas system.
Right.
But how does it all actually work?
Well,
where does the blockchain come in?
Like Bitcoin Ethereum maintains its own blockchain.
Okay.
A secure and transparent record of every transaction and change in the network state.
Uh-huh.
But there's a key difference here.
What's it?
Ethereum's blockchain includes the state of every account in each block.
Okay.
Not just the transactions themselves.
So each block is like a snapshot of the entire Ethereum network at that moment in time.
Exactly. It's like a ledger that not only records the transactions, but also shows you the balance of every account and the code of every smart contract.
Interesting.
And to ensure security and incentivize those who maintain the blockchain, Ethereum uses a modified version of something called the Ghost Protocol.
Ghost Protocol. Sounds spooky.
It does sound spooky.
Break that down for me. What does it do?
So imagine miners are competing to add blocks to the blockchain.
Okay.
Sometimes two miners might solve a block almost simultaneously. Creating two competing chains.
Right.
The Ghost Protocol, which stands for Greedy Heaviest Observed Subtree, helps the network decide which chain is the valid one.
Oh.
Even taking into account those stale blocks that didn't make it into the main chain.
So it's like giving those blocks that didn't win a second chance.
Right.
To contribute to the network security.
Exactly.
It seems fair.
It is, and it makes mining more inclusive.
Okay.
Giving smaller miners a better shot at earning rewards.
That's cool.
But even with all these innovations, the white paper acknowledges a big challenge. Scalability.
Scalability. Is that like how many transactions the network can handle at once?
Exactly. Just like Bitcoin, every node in the Ethereum network has to process every single transaction.
Right.
Which can lead to bottlenecks and slow things down as the network grows.
So that's a problem.
Yeah, it's a challenge.
Did the white paper offer any solutions to this scalability issue?
Absolutely. The developers proposed several strategies.
Like what?
Including using something called intermediate state tree roots.
Okay.
And a clever verification protocol.
Okay.
Basically, instead of storing the entire state of the network in each block, they came up with a more efficient data structure called a Patricia tree.
Okay.
This allows for partial updates and verification.
Okay.
Reducing the overall data load.
So it's like compressing the data.
Yeah, you got
and making it more manageable.
Exactly. And they even outlined a system where lighter nodes, those that don't download the entire blockchain, can still verify the validity of transactions.
Okay.
This is crucial for keeping the network decentralized and accessible to everyone.
Okay. All these technical details are fascinating.
Yeah.
But I'm dying to know what we can actually do with Ethereum.
Right.
Let's dive into some of the mind-blowing applications the white paper lays out.
Let's do it.
Those token systems, financial derivatives, decentralized file storage, even DAOs.
We're just getting started.
Okay, so we're back.
Yes.
And ready to explore the possibilities.
Yeah.
Because this white paper doesn't just lay out the tech.
Right.
It paints a picture of what Ethereum could do.
It really does.
Let's start with token systems.
Okay.
Those are a big deal these days.
Yeah, huge.
What was the vision there?
Well, the white paper basically says, hey, you can create custom tokens on Ethereum. And it's not just about creating them.
Right.
It's about the flexibility.
Okay.
You could have tokens representing anything.
Really?
Physical assets, loyalty points, you name it.
Wow.
And get this. It even talks about paying transaction fees in those tokens.
Hold on.
Yeah.
So instead of using Ether for every little thing, you could have an entire economy running on custom tokens.
Exactly.
That's a whole different level of decentralization.
It's like building specialized economic zones within Ethereum, each with its own rules and incentives.
That's wild.
Imagine the possibilities.
Okay, color me intrigued.
Okay.
But let's move on to another application.
Sure.
That always seemed a bit over my head.
Okay.
Financial derivatives. Help me wrap my head around this. How does Ethereum fit in?
So derivatives sound complex.
They do.
But the basic idea is simple.
Okay.
There are contracts that manage financial risk.
Okay.
Let's say you want to protect yourself against the price of Ether going down. You could create a smart contract that automatically buys or sells Ether based on its price relative to, say, the US dollar.
So it's like a safety net for my investments built right into the code.
Exactly. And the white paper talks about these data feed contracts.
Data feed.
They're like oracles that provide reliable external information, like price feeds, to make these derivatives work.
So my contract can automatically get the latest exchange rates from this oracle.
Right.
And make decisions based on that.
Exactly.
No need to trust a third party or worry about manipulation.
That's the beauty of it.
That is pretty cool.
The whole process is transparent, automated, and secure thanks to the blockchain.
Wow. Ethereum really opens up a whole new world for finance.
It does.
But let's talk about something a little closer to home.
Okay.
Decentralized file storage.
Yeah.
With all the concerns about data privacy these days, this one feels particularly relevant.
Yeah, for sure. This is where things get really exciting. The white paper actually uses the term decentralized Dropbox contract, which paints a pretty clear picture.
So instead of handing my files over to some big tech company, I could be storing them on a network of users.
Exactly.
Is that what they're getting at?
That's it. The white paper lays out this idea where users are incentivized to provide storage space. And the files themselves are encrypted and spread across the network, making them much harder to censor or control.
So it's like taking back control of my data, distributing it across a network I can trust, rather than relying on a single company. I love that idea.
It's a powerful idea.
It is.
And with micropayment channels built on Ethereum, you could easily pay for that storage and retrieval directly to the people providing it.
Okay, I've been holding back on this one, but we have to talk about DAOs.
All right, let's do it.
Decentralized autonomous organizations.
Yeah.
The idea of an organization run entirely by code on the blockchain still blows my mind.
Yeah. It's a mind-bending concept, isn't it?
It is.
The white paper outlines different ways DAOs could work. Some with shareholders, like traditional companies, others where everyone has equal voting rights. Imagine an organization that makes decisions, manages funds, and even evolves over time.
Wow.
All based on rules written in code.
No more boardroom drama, no more opaque decision-making.
Right.
It's like taking the human element out of the equation, but in a good way.
Yeah, exactly. The potential for DAOs to change how we think about organizations is huge. They could lead to more transparency, greater efficiency, and even more democratic decision-making.
Interesting.
It's a whole new way of organizing ourselves.
You know, it's incredible how the white paper, it doesn't just lay out these big ideas. It actually gives you a glimpse of how they could work in practice.
Right. It even has a section called Further Applications.
Really?
That throws out even more possibilities.
Like what?
Like savings wallets with built-in security, crop insurance that pays out automatically based on weather data, even decentralized prediction markets.
Prediction markets?
Yeah.
Okay, now that's something I have to hear more about.
All right.
What exactly did the white paper have to say about those?
Well, picture this.
Okay.
A platform where anyone can create a prediction market on just about anything from election results to say who's going to win the next Super Bowl.
So instead of relying on polls or traditional betting platforms, we could have these decentralized markets where people buy and sell shares that represent the likelihood of different outcomes.
You got it. And since it's all happening on the blockchain, it's completely transparent.
Right.
You can see exactly how the market is evolving.
Okay.
And the payoffs are automatic once the event is resolved.
That sounds like a fascinating way to tap into collective wisdom.
Yeah.
And make more informed predictions.
Yeah.
But wait, how would these prediction markets actually get resolved?
Oh, you're catching on.
We need a reliable way to verify the outcomes.
That's where oracles come in again.
Okay.
The white paper talks about shelling coin,
a
concept for a decentralized oracle system. It's based on the idea that a large, diverse group of participants will tend to agree on what's true. It's like a self-correcting mechanism for truth-telling.
So by combining prediction markets with these decentralized oracles, you could create a system for making forecasts that's transparent, accurate, and resistant to manipulation.
Precisely. And this is just one example of how seemingly unrelated ideas from blockchain technology to game theory can come together to create entirely new possibilities on Ethereum.
I'm already feeling inspired.
Me too.
This white paper is like a treasure trove of ideas.
It really is.
And we haven't even touched on everything yet.
Not even close.
There's still crop insurance, peer-to-peer gambling, decentralized marketplaces.
There's so much to explore.
Yeah.
And that's what makes the Ethereum white paper so compelling. It's not just a technical document. No. It's a roadmap for a future that's still being written.
It's like a seed that was planted back in 2014.
Yeah.
And now we're seeing these incredible applications sprouting up all around us.
A perfect analogy.
Right.
And what's exciting is that we're still in the early stages.
Yeah.
Just like a seed, the white paper holds the potential for countless more applications that we haven't even imagined yet.
Okay. I'm on board with the seed analogy.
Good.
But before we get too carried away with the future, let's take a closer look at some of these other applications.
Sure.
I'm especially curious about that crop insurance idea.
All right.
How could a blockchain help farmers manage risk?
Let's dive into that. This is where the power of smart contracts combined with real-world data gets really interesting.
So we were talking about crop insurance.
Yeah, using a blockchain to help farmers manage risk.
It sounds like something straight out of a futuristic farm.
It kind of is.
But how would it actually work? Could a blockchain really help farmers deal with unpredictable weather?
This is where the concept of oracles becomes key.
Yeah.
Remember we talked about how they can bring real-world data onto the blockchain?
Right.
Imagine a smart contract for crop insurance linked to a weather data feed.
So let's say a farmer buys insurance through this contract.
Right.
And a drought hits their area. The contract could automatically pay out.
Yeah.
Based on the rainfall data from the Oracle.
Exactly. It cuts out all the back and forth of manual claims processing, the potential for disputes, the delays.
Yeah.
The payout is triggered instantly and transparently. Based on the data feed.
That's amazing.
It is.
It's like a safety net woven directly into the system.
Yeah.
Especially for those farmers in regions where weather can be a real gamble.
Absolutely. And this is just one example of how Ethereum bridges the gap between the digital world and the physical world.
Right.
Using these oracles to bring real-world events onto the blockchain.
Speaking of things that seem too good to be true.
Those decentralized prediction markets,
they sound like something out of a sci-fi movie.
They kind of do.
What exactly did the white paper envision?
Picture this. A platform where anyone can create a prediction market on almost anything you can think of.
Really?
Election results, the outcome of a sporting event.
Wow.
Maybe even who's going to win the next Grammy for Best Podcast Script. The possibilities are endless.
So instead of relying on those traditional polls or betting platforms, you'd have these decentralized markets where people are buying and selling shares, basically betting on different outcomes.
You got it. And because it's all happening on the blockchain, it's transparent, auditable. Everyone can see how the market is evolving, and the payoffs are automatic. Once the event happens and the outcome is clear. No need to trust a central authority.
It's like harnessing the collective wisdom of the crowd, except you're putting your ether where your mouth is.
Exactly.
But wait a second. These markets would need a reliable way to determine who wins, right?
You're catching on. That's where those trusty oracles come back into play. The white paper actually proposes this concept called shelling coins.
Shelling coin.
As a potential way to create a decentralized oracle system.
Interesting.
It's a bit technical. But the basic idea is that a large group of diverse participants are incentivized to tell the truth because it's the most predictable and therefore profitable outcome.
So you're using game theory to ensure that these oracles are reporting accurate information.
Exactly.
That's brilliant.
And by combining prediction markets with these decentralized oracles, you could create a system for forecasting that's not only transparent and potentially more accurate, but also incredibly difficult to manipulate.
I have to say, I'm really impressed with the foresight of this white paper.
Yeah, me too.
They were laying the groundwork for a whole new world of possibilities.
Absolutely.
We barely scratched the surface.
Not even close.
We didn't even get to touch on those savings wallets, peer-to-peer gambling, or decentralized marketplaces.
There's so much more.
I know, and that's the beauty of it.
Yeah.
This document wasn't meant to be a blueprint for a finished product. It's more like a seed that was planted. And now we're seeing all these incredible applications blooming from it.
A perfect analogy.
I'm loving this seed analogy.
Good.
It perfectly captures the essence of the Ethereum white paper.
Yeah.
It's full of potential.
Right.
And it's constantly evolving.
And that's the takeaway I hope our listeners get from this deep dive.
Yeah.
When you read the white paper, don't just think about the tech.
Right.
Think about the vision.
Okay.
Think about how those core ideas can be applied to solve problems, create new opportunities, and build a more decentralized future.
So next time you hear about some groundbreaking new project on Ethereum,
right,
or some crazy application you never thought possible, take a moment to trace it back to the roots. You might be surprised how many of those innovations can be linked back to the ideas planted in this document.
The Ethereum Whitepaper isn't just a historical artifact. It's a living document.
Right.
It's a reminder that the future isn't something that just happens to us. It's something we build together.
Beautifully said. And with that thought-provoking image, we'll wrap up this deep dive into the Ethereum Whitepaper.
Sounds good.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep building